Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Evanston. My name is Annette Wallace, and I'll be your worship associate this morning. And whether this is your spiritual home or you are newly discovering this community, we're grateful to share this time together. We strive to be an inclusive and welcoming community, seeking truth and love and nurturing the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us is worthy of love and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. We come together to remember our kinship with one another and to hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention, and to dedicate ourselves more fully to living our shared values. People of all ages are a welcome and important part of our faith. We are blessed to have the children in the sanctuary for the first half of every service, and the entire service is for all ages about once a month. The nest in the front is our designated area for families with young children, where we have quiet fidget toys and activities and a kid-friendly order of service. Nursery care is available in room 11 every Sunday. As part of being a welcoming and inclusive community, we have some information posted on the screen that will help orient you to UCE and our service. So here are a few announcements. And I have to get my glasses. Yeah, I'm old, all right? Our current sanctuary chairs are for sale for just $30 each. Want to have a piece of UCE history for your own? $30. Today and next Sunday are the last 2 days you can buy them. See the chair team at the back of the church during kinship time. Heads up, the new chairs are coming the week of December 11th. That's next week. Woo! Mitten tree gifts will be wrapped this Friday, the 8th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and then at a carols and cocoa party that evening at 6 p.m., so come join us. Please stay after the service for our annual ornament making and tree decorating. And the annual participatory pageant will take place on Sunday the 17th, and it's a lovely thing. Come as you are and join in the playful recreation of the Christmas story. And now, let us settle into our shared time of reflection, celebration, and inspiration. As we begin our worship service, those joining us online are invited to gather your chalice as we join in beloved community. Welcome to worship. can hear no Sinetti right now. The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on land that was recorded as being transferred from the local Potawatomi community to the U.S. government in 1829, shortly before the Potawatomi in this area were forcefully removed west of the Mississippi. This land was then sold to white settlers. We remember the ancestors of contemporary African Americans, the individuals, families, and networks of Black people who built up our country's culture and economy. A role forced on them originally by enslavement. We acknowledge the intentional violence that landed on North American shores in 1619 and has continued throughout the generations and remains a reality today. Those acknowledgments are one small effort toward building long-term solidarity with contemporary communities. We commit ourselves to take what we learn here today and incorporate it into our lives and turn our thoughts into actions. Please join in our words of shared commitment. We name these realities with honor for all the ancestors, respect for our descendants, and gratitude for the land we use as sacred space. Our chalice is being lit by the Liddell family. I was going to say all your names, but I'm sorry. As we light our chalice, symbol of our living tradition, please join in saying the words on the screen. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. Please rise in body or spirit and join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And before we sing our opening hymn, I invite those joining us online to greet each other in the chat, and those gathered in the sanctuary to turn to one another briefly to say good morning, and try saying good morning to somebody you don't know.
Thanks. Please stay after the service and continue your conversations. And if you're new to UCE, please stop by the welcome table with the red tablecloth at the back by the large mural. You can learn more information about our community. Let's keep building kinship together. And again, major plug, stay after for Ornament Sunday. It's so much fun. So thanks for remaining uplifted. We're going to be singing Where Do We Come From? And Jen is going to sing through it, each line, repeating each line twice. And then we'll go through it once that way. And then once you hear it, pick the line that you like and just go with that one and stay with it. And that's how we're going to do our round. And we'll sing it through that way twice.
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery.
Good morning, everyone. Today's Time for All Ages is from a book called I Am One, a book of action by Susan Verde and illustrated by Peter H. Reynolds. And I invite you to say the word one or raise your finger like this when you see me doing it. Participatory, okay? How do I make a difference? It seems like a tall order for one so small. But beautiful things start with just one. One seed to start a garden. One, you got it, stroke to make a masterpiece. One note to start a melody. One step to start a journey. One brick to start breaking down walls. And I can speak one gentle word to start a conversation. I can use my one soft voice to start a friendship. I can perform one act of kindness to start a connection. I can share one tender hug to start caring. I can light one candle and start leading the way. I can make one drop in the water to start ripples that become swells, then waves, traveling over oceans, across borders and boundaries, landing on distant shores to start a chain reaction, inspire a movement, make a change. We are each one, and we can take action. The end.
Nice to have you with us, Ken. Ken Smith was our pianist many years ago, and Gregory is playing a musical this weekend, so that's why he's not here. And thank you, Ken, for filling in. I invite us now to settle into our time of quiet reflection as we receive the joys and sorrows of this community and we hold one another in care. So let's all breathe in together, taking a deep breath. And breathe out. Settle yourself as best you can. Settle your body and your mind. Breathe in again. And breathe out. These are the joys and sorrows that have been shared before our service today. A joy from Andy Fisher, which was actually shared last week, but it was unintentionally missed. Andy is on vacation currently and will be gone all December. He's going first to Africa and then to his sister Carol's place in upstate New York. So we look forward to seeing Andy when he returns. And from Kathy Underwood, a concern from her Uncle John and Aunt Anna. Kathy writes, my uncle, who is Jewish, made cruel statements during a pro-Palestinian rally on the campus where he teaches and is now getting death threats. I've learned that videos of this are on social media platforms that I'm not on. While the university is supporting his right to free speech, the students are angry. I hope the university can find a way to help heal the wounds that were made for all involved. We know there are many joys and sorrows in this room, and those unspoken beyond the walls of this community. And sharing these concerns of our hearts is part of building beloved community. So I invite you now to come forward if you would like to acknowledge a joy or sorrow that you're carrying on your heart and light a candle. And you can come up the side aisles or in the center. There are 3 stations. And if you would like a candle brought to you, you can raise your hand and we will do so. Please come forward now. Please join in saying these words. For these joys, we give our thanks. For these sorrows, we give our love. And I invite you now to join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation. This prayer is by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. Spirit of life, eternal mystery, receive the meditations of our hearts this day. We come to this space with the challenges and sorrows of our lives wringing our thoughts. All that we have left undone, our relationships that may be frayed or fraught, the pressures of life, work, and home hunching our spirits and bringing us down. Things, people, and places that are breaking our hearts. Beyond these walls, there is so much that is outside of our control. Let us leave it there for this moment. Beloved mystery, hold us close and whisper into our hearts that another world is possible. One beyond our imagination that we are building together. One prayer at a time, one hopeful declaration at a time, one act of forgiveness and grace at a time, one extension of care and compassion at a time. We give over all of our actions to you, sweet mystery, for we know that the impacts of our faithful practices, nor do we invest ourselves in them. May we embrace today the wisdom that love is enough, care is enough, patience and service are enough. The rest is mystery, and may that be enough. Amen and blessed be. As we sing our response, number 55, Dark of Winter, our young people, preschool through 6th grade, are invited to head to their faith formation time with their adult leaders.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me, and my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
As we say in our covenant each Sunday, service is our law. UCE is called by our mission, values, and principles to contribute to our community, to form accountable partnerships, and to express gratitude through giving. Our shared offering recipient for the first 4 Sundays of December is Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism, also known as BLUE. Since its formation in 2015, Blue has transformed from a small, informal gathering of Black UUs into an impactful 501c3 organization. Here is a video about Blue.
Hello, I'm Lena Catherine Gardner, the Executive Director of Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. Today, I want to talk to you about love, community, and the importance of creating a space where Black people can grow together. Unitarian Universalism is about radical love. It's about loving ourselves, our neighbors, and the world, with all of its complexities. We are all imperfect, and we carry the impacts of our experiences, both good and bad. Unitarian Universalism invites us to take responsibility for the impacts we have in this world, to connect our spiritual practices, our values, and our justice holistically in community. Spiritual community should be a welcoming, empowering place. Many Black Unitarian Universalists, like myself, have had isolating experiences in predominantly white congregations. We need a space where we can celebrate our Blackness and our spiritual beliefs without feeling alone. That's why a group of Black Unitarian Universalists founded Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism in 2015. In Blue community, we come together to celebrate each other, learn from one another, deepen our spirituality, and work collectively to create change. We believe that we can love each other better and change the world in ways that honor our Blackness and our faith. But we can't do this without your help. Your support allows us to continue providing a nurturing environment for Black Unitarian Universalists to connect in spaces that can hold all of who we are. We invite you to join us in amplifying and elevating Black spiritual practices, community, and leadership. You can help us by donating to Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. Together, we can build a spiritual home where Black people can be unapologetically Black, unapologetically spiritual, and unapologetically liberated. Thank you for your support and for choosing to invest in love.
You may text to give, mail in a check, put cash in the collection bowls, or give from our website. If you write a check, please indicate in the memo line of your check is for the shared offering or some other giving. The ushers will now come forward to pass the collection bowls down the row. Please give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy. can break your you can't walk, can't remember. They can take your child, wall up your lover. They can do anything you can't stop them from doing. How can you stop them? Alone. You can fight. You can refuse. You can take what revenge you can, but they roll over you. But two people fighting back to back can cut through a mob. A snake dancing file can break a cordon. An army can meet an army. Two people can keep each other sane, can give support, conviction, love, massage, hope, sex. Three people are a delegation, a committee, a wedge. With four, you can play bridge and start an organization. With six, you can rent a whole house, eat pie for dinner with no seconds, and hold a fundraising party. A dozen make a demonstration. 100 fill a hall. 1,000 have solidarity and your own newsletter. 10,000 power and your own paper. 100,000 your own media. 10 million your own country. It goes on one at a time. It starts when you care to act. It starts when you do. It starts when you do it again and they said no. It starts when you say we and know who you mean. And each day you mean one more.
Well, it looks like it might be a hard road. I'm gonna walk it with you. And I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. I will lift you up when they push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. Well, it looks like it might be a long night, but I ain't going nowhere. And I know it's gonna be a hard fight, but I will stay right here. I will shine a light in the darkest hour. I will face the man in the tallest tower. Well, it looks like it might be a long night, and I ain't going nowhere. I will work, I will strive, I will fight in the name of love. I will speak, I will shout, I will sing it to the skies above. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, but I will follow your lead. And I know it might be a long time till the last one of us is freed. And I will hold on tight, stay by your side. I will be with you for this whole damn ride. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, and I will follow your lead. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. And I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. Well, lift you up when they push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. That's right, I'm gonna walk it with you. I'm gonna walk it with you. I will walk, I will climb, shine a light the whole night through. because it looks like it might be a road, but I'm gonna walk it with you.
Never fails, I come up with a song and you make it about 100 times better than it was when I first heard it. Beautiful, thanks, Jen. As we in the Northern Hemisphere move into the darkest, coldest time of the year, the time of longer shadows and deeper uncertainty, we hunker down and we brace ourselves. We may pull out our warmest sweaters, put an extra blanket on the bed, even prepare our gardens, tucking in the plants with extra mulch like our garden team did this week. Thank you, garden team. In the Christian calendar, this is the first Sunday of Advent, the time of preparation for the coming of a new hope, a new possibility beyond the harsh winter. In this season, with so much weighing on our hearts, even as we wonder if there will ever be a time when that is not the case, how are we preparing ourselves for what might come? There is a saying, we make plans and God laughs. We can plan and prepare, yet things rarely go the way we expect them to. In our emergency preparedness trainings, we've heard that message that there is no way to plan for every possible scenario. We can prepare, but we can never be fully prepared for all that may come our way. The best we can do is to be aware, to think and talk through possibilities, and to be in relationships that enable us to turn to one another and respond collectively with creativity, wisdom, and according to our values amidst any crisis. In this time of so much division and collective pain, what does it mean for us to prepare to do the ongoing work of building beloved community, of helping to heal and repair, to make the world whole? My colleague, UU minister and poet Lynn Unger wrote this piece titled Duty on November 11th. The maple leaves that turn to flame are burning down to embers, time to bank the fires of the year. I know you feel the darkness closing in, but what makes you think that's your problem to solve? Stop trying to tie leaves back to branches. Answer the questions that are yours to ask. Who is my neighbor? Make the things that are yours to make. Split peas or lentils for the soup. When the old rabbi talked about Tikkun Olam, your duty to repair the world, he made it clear. The only way creation is restored is through inviting the tiniest shards to find their way back home to a wholeness we keep trying to imagine. The work of Tikkun Olam, of repairing the world, is long and slow. It is movement upon movement building work, work that is never fully complete, can never perfectly prepare us for what might come. But we can prepare ourselves to respond to the moment we are in with the strength, wisdom, and love of collective power. Such a pivotal moment happened on December 1st, 1955. A moment that arose out of years of preparation. Rosa Parks, a seamstress who was coming home from work in Montgomery, Alabama, was told by the bus driver that she needed to give up her seat to a white man. There were other seats on the bus where he could have sat or where she could have moved, but she refused. The driver, the very same driver who years before had driven away from Mrs. Parks when she had paid to ride the bus and was forced to exit the front door and reboard the back, that same driver this time called the police. Rosa Parks still refused to move and simply asked, "Why do you push us around?" They arrested her, and 4 days later, a boycott of the buses began that lasted more than a year. That decisive action was in no way the start of the civil rights movement, and Rosa Parks was certainly not the only catalyst, but on that day she made a choice that this was the time, now was the moment, when her rage at what happened to a 14-year-old boy from Chicago down in Mississippi, the outrage of a mother who let the world see what hatred really looks like, compelled her to act defiantly. It took courage for Mrs. Parks to not move. She knew what hatred and white supremacy could do. That was fresh on her mind when she made that choice. And because of her courageous choice in that moment, we honor her name. But let us also remember that there are countless names, some we may know and many we don't, who were catalysts, part of a mass collective of organized people empowered by righteous anger and a sense of dignity and the deep knowing that they belonged to each other. And there were thousands of actions that led to and resulted from that moment. There was Claudette Colvin, the 15-year-old girl who 9 months before had refused to give up her seat on a bus and was arrested. It was Rosa Parks, secretary of the NAACP in Montgomery, along with her white ally, Virginia Durr, who raised legal funds for Claudette and encouraged her to become active in the NAACP Youth Council. It is often told that the NAACP didn't organize the boycott around Claudette's case because she was pregnant and might not be the sympathetic plaintiff they needed, but that wasn't true. They didn't organize around Claudette Colvin at the time because the judge, rather than charging her with breaking segregation laws, which they could have used to make a larger case, they charged her with assault of the officers who arrested her, ridiculous considering her diminutive size. But Claudette was still a catalyst. She was still part of the larger movement. She was one of the plaintiffs in the case that finally led to desegregation of the buses in Montgomery. There was E.D. Nixon, founder of the local chapter of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and civil rights leader in Montgomery, who helped bail out Mrs. Parks that night in December. There was Virginia Durr, one of Rosa's sewing clients and unapologetic champion of civil rights. Virginia Durr was a woman who knew how to use her white privilege in a way that made her an accomplice more than an ally. There was Miles Horton, the poor white Southerner who co-founded the Highlander Folk School and gave Rosa Parks a scholarship to attend in the summer of 1955, where she learned about organizing and mobilizing for social change. There were thousands of people who walked to work every day instead of riding the bus for a whole year. The people who made flyers to get out the word, organized carpools, gathered to pray and worship, and kept the movement alive for all those months to make a successful collective action and powerful economic boycott out of so many small, otherwise inconsequential actions. All they were asking was to not have to move if they were already seated on the bus. They weren't even asking to desegregate the buses at first, but once they realized how little the segregationists would budge, Dr. King knew they needed to push for big change. The hours, the months, the weeks of training and preparation for that moment that Rosa was arrested and all that came after, that is the way momentous change happens. Through a thousand tiny movements of small but abiding commitments, of relationships, of trust, of knowing what is right and never losing faith in what is possible or imagining how the world should be. The most important preparation for the work of justice, liberation, and peace is to be in relationship, to nurture and tend relationships, especially those across difference. When we are in relationship, we are more likely to respond rather than react with care and with thought. And that is no small thing or simple task. In this moment, when we are all struggling to find the words, to steady ourselves on moral ground, to decide what statement to sign on to, I want to encourage us to lean toward relationship rather than platitudes. I had the pleasure of being with some of my colleagues on Friday to present at the National Symposium for State and Local Reparations. We were sharing with participants about the impact of the interfaith community here in Evanston in supporting reparations. One of the participants from New Jersey asked us, "What's in the water here?" He wanted to know why this is such a special place and how we've been able to coalesce so effectively around this complex and challenging issue and so many other issues of justice. The answer for each of us clergy was simple: relationships, relationships, relationships. We all talked about the abiding and loving friendships that have developed between us as clergy and lay leaders of our congregations over years. And we know how much time and effort that takes. We know that we have partnered with our neighbors from many faith communities and shared service over decades, learning and growing together, forging deep commitments, having hard conversations, listening to one another, and working together to build the beloved community. And this is a moment when those relationships are even more critical. This is a moment when those relationships are being tested and tried. Some of you may be aware that the Evanston Equity and Empowerment Commission proposed a resolution about a week ago on the war in Gaza and the release of hostages. Ultimately, the resolution was dismissed because it was outside the Commission's purview to weigh in on international matters, and it was a one-sided and divisive statement. Many of us clergy were asked to sign on to a statement in opposition of the resolution, and I have to tell you, I struggled mightily with that. I worried that both the resolution and the opposing statement were both one-sided and divisive. Moreover, I'm concerned that the focus on making declarative statements and resolutions moves us further away from our ability to listen, to be present to one another, to hold the collective and compounded trauma, and to find a way through together. No one I know wants the violence and devastation that is happening in Gaza. No one. Everyone I know wants the suffering to end, the hostages to be returned, for there to be a way for Israelis and Palestinians to live side by side in peace. But the only way to imagine how that could be possible is to be in relationship. Yet in the struggle to find the moral high ground while sinking in a quagmire of despair and anger, resolutions and statements entrenched in our positions only harden our divisions. The Thanksgiving Eve service we held here made me keenly aware how hard it is to build relationships across difference in times of crisis such as we are in. Because our interfaith clergy group does not have the same long-standing relational ties with our Muslim neighbors, the possibility of coming together for dialogue around the complex trauma, violence, and grief in the Middle East feels even more remote. But we will not give up. We won't give up on cultivating those relationships, as slow and painstaking as it may be, and I hope that you won't either. Rosa Parks cultivated those relationships through her work, through her role with the NAACP, through her training at the Highlander Folk School, through her deep sorrow and outrage after the murder of Emmett Till. And her commitment to those relationships gave her the fortitude to hold her seat on that bus. And it also helped spark a national civil rights movement. And that movement for civil rights for African Americans sparked many similar movements, including the movements for LGBTQ and disability rights. I want to just pause here for a second. I just watched a movie last night called Crip Camp. Anybody seen that? If you haven't seen it, see it. It's incredible. It's the story of the ADA and the American Disability Civil Rights Movement, and we don't hear about it, and it's incredible. We are in the midst of these movements all the time. We're shaping and co-creating our world together, in every moment, through every movement. Each of us has a part to play in building the beloved community, in expanding love and liberation, in demanding peace and safety for all people everywhere. We may not know in any given moment what we can do. We may feel lost in a sea of angry voices, trauma, and outrage. We may feel that our little light is hardly bright enough to make any difference at all. But what you can do is reach out to someone of a different faith or race or background or identity and begin to form and further tend those relationships. Your little light needs to shine. And you can use your little light, however dim it might seem, to ignite the spark of love and justice in others. Stop trying to tie leaves back to branches. Answer the questions that are yours to ask. Who is my neighbor? Make the things that are yours to make. One light is rarely bright enough alone to cast out the shadows of hate and despair, and we can't repair the world by ourselves. But we can prepare for what we are called to do, for where we are led by love, by staying in the hard work of relationships. We can tend those relationships one conversation at a time, by taking a deep breath when we feel overwhelmed by emotion, by listening to ourselves, listening to others, and asking for guidance from the transforming power of love. We can prepare ourselves by building courageous connections so that when the time comes to take loving and life-giving action together, we are ready to be one spark in a wider movement. May it be so. May we make it so.
As we extinguish the chalice, please join in saying the words on the screen by the Reverend Elizabeth Sell-Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, This Little Light of Mine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
May each of us let our light shine and let it spark the flame of courage and love in another. May we together remake the world to be more loving, liberated, and peaceful. Amen. And stick around for Ornament Sunday. Help clear the chairs and let's have fun and let our light shine.